Anyway, really, I suppose this video, it's just my reflection about myself and relating that to society overall, trust. Hello, it's June 2022, and before I get into this video, I just want to say thank you. Now, I've been doing a lot of reflecting over the past few days as I'm recovering from the surgery, and there's still a few more things that apparently need to be looked into, and depending on the outcome, perhaps I might let you know. Now, with this said, my reflection has been more of a personal nature, but I'm going to tie this in real quick with society overall. Now, I had a lot of fear with the surgery, and I realized that there's part of that fear, a part of it, could possibly stem from my past experiences. Now, our past experiences, events in our lives, mold partly our characters. And we all have experiences, good, bad, and everything in between. And I can only speak on mine, but again, I'm going to tie this in with society overall real quick. And when I look at, for example, when you look at a hospital, I'm going to use this as a loose descriptive, like a governing body. Okay, they have authority. And for myself to put my life in someone else's hands, especially strangers, and this is by no means, again, anything to do with the surgical team or the staff at the hospital or anything else. This is me, my own, one of my own things that I've come to realize about myself. And it was actually kind of someone inspired by a comment a friend of mine had said to me. So really kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. And when I look back throughout my life, say for example, even just the past 10 years, when I put my trust in governing bodies, authorities, various authority types, it did me no good. And I will look back through my whole life. Not only did governing bodies never do anything to help, but they made my life worse. And when I look back to the province of Alberta and the ill treatment that seemed to have escalated over the years there with them, that trust is gone. I made it clear to them as well, it's gone. And when I look throughout the years of dealing with the courts and filing complaints and appeals and everything else, again, putting my trust of my future in these people's hands and having that trust breached. And initially with the for example, the trial proper, being wrongfully convicted over ego, pretty much is what it is. Not to be liable, accountable for wrongdoings and whatever the trial judge at the time was feeling. I go back even to the May 4th, 2013 event when I took a passive position, allowing the two former officers to handcuff me. And then they did what they did to me. Put my trust there. Breach of trust. And it's not just this past 10 years. Like, when I look back throughout my history, there seems to be a lot of examples. For example, when I reached out to different officials, governing bodies in Canada, to help with what happened to the woman that I married, and not only did they not help, but made things worse, and essentially I was dealing with the same type of thing that I was dealing with in the province of Alberta for some strange reason. And I can go back a little further to other injustices that I had to deal with, and go back to the time when I was in, for example, the recovery room of after an emergency surgery for an injury on one of my limbs. They I was sexually assaulted by 5 to 6 female nurses, and not only was it all dismissed and brushed under the rug, but they were trying to spin it around back on me, saying that if I keep complaining, they're going to have me charged with something. And I remember when I was in the recovery room this last time here, I remember when I was kind of gathering my senses, I remember asking the nurses, am I covered? And they probably were looking at me or thinking like, what the hell is this guy's problem type of thing. But, you know, I don't know really what my thinking was, because I was still kind of groggy, but probably I had maybe like some sort of flashback or something. And anyway, so I had that experience with the hospital, and I don't dwell on it at all. And the fact that you might hear me mention it a few times in videos doesn't mean I dwell on it. You know, I'll mention it as it relates, for example, to the topic of this video. And then I look back and remember there was a time where a gang, I think it was like 12, 14 people, it was at school, it was junior high, had beat me and left me for dead. And everyone walked. And so I never had an opportunity for any kind of justice there. And the damage that was done still lingers. And, you know, I go back through my public school years, same type of thing. And when I was younger, my family environment. And all these examples are positions of authority that breached that trust. So perhaps a part of me, small part of me, was dealing with that as well during the surgery. And I pushed through it, obviously. And that part of me had that relief that everything went fine for me, and everyone did, as I said in my previous video, an excellent job. And they did. So how does this tie into with society? Well, I'm going to be real quick about this, because society overall seems to default for more governing bodies. It's interesting when you look at these online celebrities interviewing people on the street saying, do you trust the government? People saying no. But you trust them to take away your personal weapons, and then people start to short circuit. Because it's like, all of a sudden now they're in a little bit of a contradiction. And when you look at, for example, Milton Friedman, and even Thomas Sowell has said that what we observe in history, even modern history, is the more government, they cause more problems. Now, whether it's by chance or design, that's a completely different topic, but they do cause more problems. And then people in society call out for, well, we need more, and it's just a downward spiral. And now I'm not being specific to any government or leader or anything. I'm just generalizing here. It applies all around the world. But people are putting their trust in other people who have no vested, even invested interest in them. And we see how things are unfolding, and yet they still scream out for more and more and more. And then we get into how society has been completely, the ability to have critical thinking skills is gone. Used to be, for example, schools taught how to think, not what to think. Now it's what to think. And through that, people don't think. They just regurgitate. And an extensive knowledge base is another thing that doesn't exist anymore, because we even see history being rewritten, really for nothing. And even if there were mistakes in history, you don't learn from mistakes if they're erased. And then we get into the whole emotional side of how people are just making decisions based on emotions. The people are putting their trust. They're putting their trust into having, for example, one particular leader, political or other, to save the day. It's not going to happen. And you have one individual, as in one example, trying to do their small part, and they end up getting their lives destroyed. Anyway, it's really, I suppose this video, it's just my reflection about myself and relating that to society overall, trust. Now, if you went through life not trusting anyone, then, well, that's not healthy in itself. You have to have a balance. I just want to give you some things to think about and just share something as I'm recovering from the surgery, some things that I'm reflecting on. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, oh, when is it going to get easier? When you die.